just the feeling of happy childhood, happy parents, happy grandparents, that
Okay.
feeling. Change it if it comes up and contradicts it. And the reason that works is because all right. And next up we have Swasti. Hi, Swasti.
Hi.
Hey, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks. I just have a quick
Good.
question. So it's regarding this like work. So recently I've been feeling like I'm floating. So but that like as in have really like nothing to work on, but that feels uncomfortable too, which I understand is probably like programming. But that's okay. But I feel this obligation that I have to continuously do the work or else I won't get there. Which I know so okay, so the belief is I have to change certain number of memories before I can get to whatever I want to happen, whatever the end destination touchstone vibe is. But I know that's not true from before. So that's my question. Why is that true? Or do I have to, or is that just a feeling inside me? Yeah.
Okay, so there's probably a reference there, but let's have a deeper look. Let's first of all answer the logic of it in that you wanted to end up in the university you're in at the moment studying medicine, right? That was your original, when you first came to us, that was your goal, right?
Original. Yes. Yeah.
Right. And so what would your answer be to someone else who said, so how many memories do I have to change? And do I need to carry on changing memories? So from where you are now, where you've achieved what you wanted to achieve, what would you
Yes.
say?
No. It's not like a set number, but there is a certain amount of change that happens. I understand that something inside you changes and there is a definite almost end feeling that definitely does exist. It's like when I finally let go, it's like making peace with the worst case scenario, which took a certain amount of work, but it didn't take like a finite number of memories.
Correct. In addition to what you've just said, the brain keeps moving the goalposts.
Yeah.
And that is what continues the work.
Mm-hmm.
So you are where I mean, you've gone way past achieving what you originally wanted to achieve when you first came to us,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
You achieved that a long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
4 years ago, 3 years
Yeah,
ago,
3 years ago. 3 years.
right? And then along the way, your brain has gone, okay, but now the next thing, but I want that. Now I want that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's normal, that's human. And that's how we progress as humans. Because if we just stopped when we got one goal, we'd never move anywhere. We'd never grow. We'd
Mm-hmm.
never, well, we'd never have families or anything like that. We'd stop at, I want to pass
Yeah.
the test in
Yeah.
school, and that would be it, right? So, and here's the thing, we're not doing it consciously. Well, I mean, we do it consciously as well, but it's running on automatic as an instinct, as an
Mm-hmm.
unconscious thing. And, people say, I remember my grandmother saying, "Oh, you're never satisfied. You'll never be satisfied." And now I'm thinking, no, that's right, because that's human. That's who we are.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get what we want, then we want the next thing, and the
Yeah.
brain is automatically focusing on the next thing. And we forget about the thing that we got because
Yes.
it's not needed for our survival anymore.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I think what bothers me is that I have no urgency to do this work. And before I was very, very disciplined, even though my memory might be distorted completely. Yeah, it probably is. But like I was very disciplined. So if something came up, I was asking questions, I was changing, I was practicing
Yes,
all day with the memories. Now I don't do that, but I do it when it feels good. So but I'm not doing it like the same disciplined way.
oh,
So that's probably the thing that I feel like, am I lacking something?
that's a reference, I would say. So let
Okay.
me ask you, how do you know you should be doing it in a disciplined way?
I just feel this urgency in me. Yeah, it's a feeling of I'm missing out.
Okay, and what are you missing out on?
It's like something could happen good if I change this memory,
Oh, there
Yeah.
we go. That is really good. So that feeling of something good could happen and you might miss out on it. What's the first thing that pops into your head from childhood? and it may not seem to be related. It may seem random. Or what did you miss out on in childhood?
Okay, so there was always this man who was used to, like the ice cream man, that was like an equivalent, but it was like a lollipop man. And you always had to like chase after him in the village. It's funny now. But before, like if you missed him, he only came once or twice a week. If you missed him, you missed him.
Oh,
so I
think
I remember missing him a lot. And then also my grandma would never give him the money in time. But I think we addressed this stuff. There
it is. There it is. That is spot on. You know why? Because you didn't have the control.
Yes.
Because you couldn't go, okay, well, I'll chase him quicker or I'll start sooner, because your grandmother didn't give you the money in time. You had no chance. I got waves of goosebumps as I'm saying that. Because that little you was completely at the mercy of your grandmother as to whether you were going to miss out on something that you wanted so much and that was only coming once or twice a week.
Yeah, I can understand.
Urgency.
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine how that urgency of gives you, he's going to go, I'm going to miss him, and she's not giving it to you in time. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, that's sad. Yeah.
It is. It is, because to a little child, that is so important. From an adult perspective, you'll catch him next week. It's only a lollipop. It's not that big a deal. But to a child, it's the world in that moment, because it means something so much more than just a lollipop.
Oh yeah, it was also because everyone else would be having it. That probably added. Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, here we go.
A whole nother layer there. That's really, really intense.
Okay.
All right. So let's change that. Okay. So let's start with, there's the urgency, your grandmother, and so on. But your grandmother listens to you. So you say to her, quickly, he's going. She goes, oh, sorry. Yes, here you go. She gives it to you, and off you go and you catch him. How would that feel?
Yeah, that feels good.
Good. Because that stepping stone there is addressing the fact that you are heard. You have the power to affect the other person, to change your own experience.
Okay.
They listen to you and they respond, and they take it seriously. She takes it seriously. So it's urgent. Because it's urgent to you, it's urgent to her.
Yes.
And that's a powerful message.
Yeah.
All right. So that stepping stone, practice it until it's established and you can feel it strongly. Next stepping stone is, she doesn't get the money in time, but she stops the man. She says, hey, hold on. Wait for my granddaughter. And then she gives you the money, and he stops and he waits for you. How would that feel?
Yeah, that's good, because my grandma would get vegetables the same way. So this is just how the village was run. But she would stop her vegetable man. She would never stop mine. Yeah.
You go.
Yeah.
And that says you're not important.
Yeah, I'm not important. Exactly. Yeah.
So she stops your lollipop man.
Right.
The same way she stops the vegetable man.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Good job. So that's another stepping stone. Establish it well. And then you have your own money. She gives you money ahead of time. You get an allowance, right? So you get an allowance early in the week, whenever, and you've got more than enough money. She gives it to you. She says, oh, here you go. And she's excited to give it to you. And she says, so you'll have it in time for the lollipop man. And then you're just waiting for the lollipop man. And when he comes, you go and you get your lollipops and whatever you want. And the other kids are getting theirs. And maybe you also treat someone else who hasn't got money.
Okay.
How would that feel?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because another thing was, we always had money, but we never utilized it. Whereas other kids were actually poor, like genuinely poor. And they still went to the lollipop man every week. I was like, how does that work then? Yeah.
So there's another interesting message there. That you'll never, you know what I mean? There's no point in having enough, because you still don't get it.
Yeah.
And that can be transferred to, there's no point in, you can work as hard as you like, you still won't get it. You can have all the information that you need, you still won't pass the test.
Yeah. absolutely. Oh. Yeah.
right? So
Mm,
a couple of memories. So you've got the money and you get the lollipops, right? So you've
mhm,
got the money and you get the lollipops, and you can buy whatever you want.
mhm.
You buy lollipops, you may buy other things as well. It's okay. And then add in that you have so much, you have plenty. So somebody else hasn't got and you get for them, and their face, they're so excited. Oh, thank you so much, right?
Okay.
So that's a different feeling there, a different reference. And then everyone has plenty and everyone can get whatever they want. So there is no
Mhm.
poor.
Okay. Yeah, I was struggling with this actually. I can't make this village abundant. I'm
Interesting.
Yeah, because that was a lot of poverty and it was sad
Yeah.
poverty. As in
Okay.
like people's health was affected by that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So as you try to make the village abundant, what happens?
I just see like when I was trying to see this, it was the roads and the not built roads, the dust, just how disgusting it was. And there was a lot of like open sewage. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like a nice stream but of sewage. That's what I saw.
All right. What do you think it would take to completely clean up the place and make it so logistically, what do you think it would take?
Money and not a corrupt government. Yeah.
Ah, okay. And as a child, how did you know that the government was corrupt?
It was just the talk of the town. Like it was a constant talk of the town. And
Interesting.
we'd have like polio vaccines and they'd come to
Mhm.
our like houses and like give the polio vaccine and put it on your door, like in chalk, because the doors were made of like some sort of heavy metal so you could draw on them. And that's the way it was delivered. And it was delivered this way because people could not make it to the location where it was administered. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was like, oh, this village gives out polio vaccines door to door because of this, the poverty.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay. So there's a lot of pieces here.
yeah.
Okay.
This has not been covered ever.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. So first of all, imagine if a magical figure like Mary Poppins or somebody else comes to the village, and you know how in Cinderella, where they transform the pumpkin, the fairy godmother transforms the pumpkin into a coach,
Mm-hmm.
and the rats into, or the mice into liver, whatever, the whole thing gets transformed, whatever you
Yeah.
call it.
Yeah.
I want you to see if you can imagine a scene like that with the village, and let me know if you need help.
Okay. It was like the sewage and the colors I was struggling with. I tried doing
Okay.
this before. I could
Okay.
change the houses
Change the
and like,
houses, that's
cars
good.
in the doorway and, it was nice built up, but the sewage and the roads don't change.
Okay. Okay. This is really good. So now we found the sticky point.
Yeah.
So the sewage and the roads don't change. So let's take one of those at a time. So the sewage, as you look at the sewage in these memories, what stands out most about it? What's the sticky bit there? If you'll pardon the pun.
I think it's like people would travel on those roads. And I remember like going to school on those roads and it was
Hmm.
just unpleasant.
Hmm. And what is it about it that was unpleasant? What stood out specifically?
Oh, kids would fall down in the sewage. Like basically there was a
Ah,
road running parallel to everyone's houses. So house road. And then if there was like a big vehicle and kids were walking alongside because there's no pavement,
yeah.
you could fall in that.
There
And
it
I
is.
don't think I personally ever fell in, but I witnessed a lot.
But you watched it. There it
Mm,
is. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Good job, sweetie. Good job. Okay. So what if the sewage was replaced with a trampoline? What would that look like when someone fell over into it?
Yeah, I can put the trampoline on top as a stepping
On
stone.
top. That's a good start.
Yeah.
So there's a trampoline on top of the sewage, and they put it there specially so that whenever someone falls, they bounce straight back up again, right?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And some of the kids, when they fall, they stay there a bit bouncing because it's fun before they get back onto the pavement, onto the road. Some of
That's
them
funny.
fall on
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah.
So I want you to really establish that as a stepping stone. The
Mm-hmm.
trampoline is over the top of the sewage. Okay.
Okay.
So now, as you think about, let's change that sewage underneath the trampoline to just water. It's a river or it's a stream. What happens? Can you do that? And if not, that's okay. Just let me know.
Yeah, now I can. I'm struggling a little, but I can kind of see both. But then if I focus on the water, I can see the water.
Good job. Very, very good. So keep focusing on the water. So for everybody as well, when you have that where you're creating a new memory and you've got both the old memory and the new memory at the same time, and it's either they're both at the same time or it's flipping back between the two, that's part of changing those neural networks. Like when you learn a new phone number, you want to practice the new phone number, not keep going back to the old one because that takes longer. So as that happens, the switching back and forth or both at the same time, make sure that you choose your focus on the new one to really establish those new neural networks, and then your brain will change it. So as you do that, let's add a little more.
Okay.
What would be fun to have in that water? Fish?
Yeah, I was trying to add
fish?
that before. Yeah, fish.
Yeah.
And like a little rainbow, when like the water and light, that would be so nice. A little leprechaun.
What about
yeah,
leprechauns? Fantastic. Absolutely. When you think about that river, focus in on all the lovely little additions.
Oh, and when the vehicles go past, there are trees. Like it's so nice because it's wide enough for everything. That's lovely.
There you go. Good job. And now let's have a look at the roads. So what are the roads like now?
Yeah, the roads are safe. There are no potholes. It's like newly built tarmac roads.
So the piece, the anchor that was holding the sewage and the crummy roads in place was the children falling into it.
Yeah.
Your brain could not change. It could not let go of that because that seems so dangerous. So now that we've changed that, now the rest can change. It's safe.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, but I still have this feeling of lack. Like, how do I create abundance in this place? Because I have been feeling lack recently, but I didn't know what it was, and this is probably it.
Yeah. Okay. So if there was abundance in this village, so let's say it's always been abundant. So we change it. Let's say reality in real life, it actually was abundant. How would you know that it was abundant? How would you know that you grew up in an abundant village? What would that be like?
Okay, so like where I live in the UK, like back home, is abundant, and it has a vibe. It has a vibe. Like you see cars in the doorway, like of every place. People have swimming pools in their backyards. Like you feel. It just something about it just feels like luxury.
Good. Okay. So I want you to imagine the village here, right, that you grew up in, and then where you live in the UK here. And I want you to put the UK one in front of the village, and then bring the village through the UK location. And as you do that, as the village comes through the UK location, it takes on all of that, or all of that abundance, that vibe, the swimming pools, cars. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, and I can mix the community vibe too, because India had a good community vibe, whereas like Guildford does not, but Guildford has luxury. I mix them together.
There you go. Now you've got the best of both worlds.
Okay.
Very good. So now as you think of the village you grew up in, what's there?
Well, I instantly feel this like, it's great. It's a blessed place to be.
Fantastic. Good job, Swasti. Excellent. Now let's look at how do you feel about the fact that you have to do work, that you have to do this work, or you've got memories to change and stuff like that.
Well, I feel more abundant now. Like I have a lot more than I think. Yeah, and I have to like consciously tell myself I don't have to do this work like endlessly for hours and hours a day. It is like brushing your teeth, like you say, a lot of times, but
that's right.
It doesn't need to involve like a finite number of things to do.
Correct. And it's like, hey, if it's raining, then you'll put a raincoat on.
Yeah,
but you're not going to walk around in a raincoat all the time just in case it rains.
That's true. Yeah.
There you go. And the same for you're not brushing your teeth all day either, or you're not going to the dentist every day. You need to go to the dentist, you'll go to the dentist, and in between you won't. You'll just maintain.
So okay, so the question is, in between, what am I supposed to be doing?
Right.
Good
question. That's a good question. And here's what I do now. So
Mm.
this is, I've
Yeah, I
changed
was
a
going
lot
to
of
ask you,
stuff.
what do you do now?
Right. And what I do is when I first am aware I wake up in the morning, so before I open my eyes, I become aware I'm awake, and I immediately turn on my light, which means I immediately go into the superpower state. So I intentionally feel that expansion feeling. So filling myself with love and imagine shining it out to the world and my day ahead. Everything and everyone. I don't think of specifics necessarily unless there's something specific that I'm concerned about. Otherwise, I just imagine I'm filling everything and I feel that expansion feeling. And then when
Okay.
that's strong, and usually that makes me want to get up because it's kind of a bolt of energy. So then I can't lay in bed any longer.
Yes.
So then I get up and I intentionally hold that state while I'm brushing my teeth and putting
Okay.
on the coffee machine, and I'm loving the coffee machine. So I'm choosing my focus. I'm grateful to be in America because
Mhm.
otherwise I'm just used to being here. I've been here 6 years now, but I intentionally think, thank you. I'm so grateful to be here. Isn't this amazing? Look at me. Look at where I am. Just those
Mhm.
kinds of things. Very gentle. So that's how I start my day. And then, of course, I'm getting on with things, and I'm intentionally loving things throughout my day.
Okay.
So, and because I've been doing it a lot, that's not an effort. That's not
Okay.
something I have to think about and
Yeah.
try and work on. Now, when something happens that I'm worried about, like something doesn't work out the way it was going to, or I thought it would, or something goes wrong, that's when I use my intention in that moment to remind myself, whatever this is, whatever it means, wherever it comes from, I release and let it go with love, or I love it all anyway, or whatever it is. So I'm just topping it up as I go.
Okay.
And then if something, it's only like when something happens or I start to feel a little triggered or I start to feel a little worried, I'll play a new childhood memory, just one. And it can be anything. It can be not even a whole memory. It can be just my mum smiling at me and saying, "You're all right, Odille," and hugging me. That's it. Or
Okay.
just my grandparents' faces looking happy.
Okay. Right. Right. But I still have old memories that I know I still
Right.
have. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
In that case, what you can start with is just a generalized feeling of your childhood.
Okay.
How happy it is. And again, it doesn't have to have a lot of detail, just the feeling of happy childhood, happy parents, happy grandparents, that
Okay.
feeling.
Yeah.
And only if and when a memory comes up that contradicts that, then
Yeah.
change it.
That's always easier than finding and changing. Yeah. Individually.
Exactly. Change it if it comes up and contradicts it. And the reason that works is because we are not manually changing all the memories.
Yeah.
So the brain is updating memories that we won't even recall consciously. That may be something for you to keep reminding yourself. You don't have
Yeah.
to change every memory,
Yes,
right?
definitely.
I've
Oh
just
yeah.
realized that's a big thing there.
That's a big thing for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like you don't have to update everything on your computer. Your computer does updates.
Okay.
Your
Right.
brain is the same.
Okay.
And your brain is constantly updating in the background. As you experience different things, as you learn different things, as you think different things,
Yeah,
your brain is
definitely.
constantly updating, and it is faster. The unconscious part of your brain is faster and more efficient, and it has a lot more resources than the conscious mind ever will.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So you
Okay.
can trust. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
And
No,
the
I do
only
trust.
time you need good. And the
Yeah.
only time you need to do it manually is if the unconscious part of your brain can't do it. And you'll know that when it suddenly comes up and you think, oh, I can't, as I imagine this wonderful childhood, this memory pops up. Okay, then it needs changing.
Okay.
It's like the unconscious part of your brain is getting on with its business. And every now and then it goes, oh, I can't change this one. Can you help me?
Can you help me out? Yeah, that's nice.
And
Yeah.
then you change.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, help me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. That's so good. That's
Good, good,
that's very empowering because
good.
yeah, it's very easy to get into like the slog of it and just, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. And can I would just quickly add something which I had like a little realization. I love it when those happen because again, like you say, the brain is updating by itself. So I think it took me like since the beginning of this work, it's it's been like 3 years to realize like how the unconditional love finally works. Like I've obviously been using it because I know it works, but like I didn't understand it. When you say the answer is unconditional love, I was like, I don't know what that means. Like I know to use it and use the light, but then I had an interaction with someone and she was she's like very empowered and all that. So I was like, you're missing something. I don't know what it is you're missing, but you're missing something. And I was like, it makes sense because she's not loved herself, so she can't be loved, because she was talking about like an ex or something. And I was like, yeah, like that's exactly what it is. You're not radiating that right now. And I was like, now it all makes sense, because you're so overfilled that it's coming out of you and you're like projecting it to everything, and nothing can stop you. Like then nothing matters because you have that inside of you. I was like, whoa. Yeah. So I just hope those words help like someone if they're struggling with it to realize it earlier on.
Good job, sweetheart. And that is spot on, and well done for that insight. And thank you so much for sharing it, not only with us. It is easier when we're trying to explain something to someone else.
Yeah.
It's easier for us to understand it because that's a different process in the brain.
Yeah, because I think love itself is the highest emotional state you can have. And that's what clicked. It's like, okay, got it.
Good job.
Got it now. Yeah.
Yay. Thank you so much, Swasti, and well done, sweetheart. I'm so proud of you. As
Thank
always.
You so much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.